What a disappointment this is, where you just believed that a freaking politician was actually trustworthy, that whenever he said he would stay out of these wars and bring world peace, that America would be America first, not Israel first. He was convicted 34 times of tax evasion. He lied 35,000 times during his first term, and he cheated on multiple wives. We knew that he wasn't honest. That's on you and that stupid hat. There, I fixed it.
I can't believe Judas sold out Jesus like that. I would never. The refugees are right there, officer.
I'm a MAGA Christian, and even though Jesus had harsh words to say about rich people, I am so excited to support them as they get richer and I get poorer. I'm a MAGA Christian, and I believe that wearing masks during the pandemic was oppression. But when ICE wears masks during their raids, that's freedom, baby. I'm a MAGA Christian, and I wear my red hat so I don't have to follow the red letters. It's just MAGA math. I'm a MAGA Christian, and I believe people protesting to protect immigrants deserve to have the National Guard deal with them. But actual violent insurrectionists deserve full pardons. I'm a MAGA Christian, and I want to protect women in girls' sports. But I'm okay with voting for predators because harming women outside of sports is okay. Also, I don't watch women's sports. I'm a MAGA Christian, and I am sick of people accusing me of not loving my neighbor, because I do. Because when Jesus said that, he meant to love your Christian neighbors, specifically Christian neighbors who also support Donald Trump. So you can't get me, libs. I'm a MAGA Christian, and I went on a mission trip to Mexico once because I love the poor people there and want to help them, as long as they never cross our border. I'm a MAGA Christian, and I believe in freedom, so don't tread on me. Unless you're Donald Trump, then tread on me harder, daddy.
When I tell you that Christian nationalism is so incredibly dangerous, I am not kidding.
Let's say you can wave your Christian nationalist wand. We wake up tomorrow in a Christian nation, a Christian nationalist nation as you're describing, all right? There's a lot of fears that people have. Here's one of them. Will women have the right to vote tomorrow if you wave that magic Christian wand?
No.
Okay, why not? I want to get into why not. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Because if we had a Christian nation tomorrow and women did have the right to vote, we would not have a Christian nation within 50 years.
Okay, let's unpack this. So in this hypothetical scenario, Joel is asked, will women have the right to vote if he's given a Christian nationalist wand? And Joel's answer is an unequivocal no. Because in Joel's mind, this is how a Christian nation behaves, by stripping the rights of women to vote. See, there's actually very little that's Christian about Christian nationalism.
Now, today's video is personal, because I've been saying this for a while now. MAGA isn't just loud. MAGA is confidently loud. It's like watching someone jump into a pool, screaming, "I know how to swim," while wearing jeans with no water in sight. These folks aren't just uninformed, they're emotionally invested in being wrong. And unfortunately, that brand of delusion has consequences. But what really pushed me to make this video is how they've wrapped all this chaos in religion. The way they've taken Jesus, humble, compassionate, truth-speaking Jesus, and turned him into some kind of AR-15 wielding, small government, tax-cutting mascot for their political grudge match. It's actually wild. Now, if you've watched my previous commentary clips, you know that all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, and a stressed out one at that. I like to make these lessons a bit lighthearted by sprinkling in some funny, but also deeply unsettling, clips of MAGA folks experiencing full-blown mental glitches in real time. It's not just for laughs, though some of it is hilarious in a should we be worried kind of way. It helps drive the point home as to how and why these people ended up making the decisions they made. MAGA is basically a double-edged sword. You're either laughing at the sheer absurdity of it all, or you're resisting the urge to punch drywall, depending on whether or not you've done some inner work. So if you find yourself laughing and then immediately spiraling into existential dread, you're not alone. That's just the MAGA effect. Let's hop in.
How come more than half the country voted for him then?
It's not half the country. Half the country. It's not half the country. There's 340 million people. 77 million voted for him. Okay. What's 77 million divided by 340 million?
Because I'd have to get a calculator.
It's obviously not half.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Obviously not half. That's the point I'm making.
So how come so how many people came out and
I
voted?
think it's like 77 million plus 75 million.
I thought you just said that 77 million people voted for Trump.
Yeah, I said 77, 75 million. You have to add both.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, duh. But then if 70 Okay, so like 250 million basically.
What is 70 plus 70?
40.
40?
I love the poorly educated.
140. Sorry.
140. What's 7 plus 5?
13.
No, it's 12. So can you add those two together? What is that? What's 140 plus 12?
Million.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
152 million.
Okay, yeah.
Out of
Around 340 million. So that means it's less than half of the population voted.
Yeah.
Vote Republican. We may not be perfect, but at least we're not completely insane.
Yeah, at least you're not completely insane.
Did you vote? Are you gonna vote? Will you vote for me? I have been in jail for domestic violence. Liberal tears, 4 more years. Won't have to worry anymore. They have not attended. Okay.
Totally sane.
You name the first president of the U.S.?
The very first president? Was that Abraham Lincoln?
I love the poorly educated.
What do the initials LBJ stand for?
LBJ?
Yeah.
LeBron James?
Who wrote the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin?
Does anybody here know the answer to that? Do you know the answer to that question?
How many times has the U.S. fought in a world war?
Only World War II, so just one.
When was the War of 1812?
Of 1812?
Yeah.
Is that the Civil War?
Who did the U.S. fight in the Civil War?
I don't know.
Who did the U.S. fight in the Civil War?
The U.S. Civil War was it Mexico?
What are your thoughts on how Joe Biden has handled the last 3 years?
Come on, man, they suck. I mean, he sucks. Plain and simple.
What's the worst thing that he's done? What's a bad thing that Joe Biden has done?
Where do I start, man? Really?
Yeah.
Come on, give me something, y'all. Come here. Come on, give me something. Something bad that Joe's done.
My wife does things with my child that I can't even dream of doing, such as having an intuition, compassion, empathy.
This is exactly what we need. People often forget that when Jesus said, hate thy neighbor, he also meant hate thy wife and thy child.
Come on now. The War of 1812, they didn't know that? Whew. Anyway, let's not trump all over them just yet. It's time for today's lesson. Now, let me be clear. I'm not claiming to know everything about the Christian faith, not even close. But I do know one thing for sure. We are called to love others, period. And I've said it before. I identify with the teachings of Jesus. That doesn't mean I'm here to force religion down your throat or baptize your screen with holy water. People get real twitchy when religion comes up. And honestly, I get it. But relax. Everybody's welcome here. We're learning together. Today, we're looking at how Christianity, something meant to be rooted in love, compassion, and truth, got hijacked and weaponized by political narcissists. But more specifically, how MAGA weaponized the faith itself, twisting scripture into a loyalty test, replacing love with rage, and convincing millions that their politics were holy. We're diving into the brainwashing, the belief systems built on vibes instead of facts, and the real damage it's caused. We'll look at the science behind it, the cult tactics, the emotional manipulation, the lies, the fear-mongering, every gear in the machine that's kept this thing going. And yes, we've got clips. We've got stories, and we've got receipts. So grab a drink, adjust your expectations, and let's hop in.
My current favorite TikTok trend is MAGA people losing their ever-loving minds that my friend Jen Hamilton, read the Bible to them. They don't like it. If you go search Jen Hamilton Stitch and just watch some of them, it's very entertaining. And it's entertaining because they're like, she weaponized Jesus against people. Have you all met you? I was an evangelical for a very long time, and if I remember it correctly, what you're feeling, that's conviction of the Holy Spirit. I love that they're like, well, Jen is just taking it out of context. Jesus is talking to Christians. He's talking to the church. He's not talking to the government. The church is supposed to be taking care of others. The church is supposed to be taking care of the least of these. When are you guys going to start doing that? It's also funny because y'all are quite literally like cheering and praising God on Sunday mornings about the Bible being in schools and prayer in schools and the 10 Commandments being posted in schools and morality that you think is moral and is in line with your faith being legislated. So you're not actually against any of that. You just don't want it used against you. Imagine that, not wanting somebody's personal morality and religious faith to be weaponized against you through the government. Imagine that. You're not mad that someone is weaponizing Jesus. You're not mad that someone's presenting her own morality and her own beliefs about something. You're mad that she's doing it when it's only yours to do. It's my ball and I'm taking it home. No one takes you all seriously. Like, no one. And you keep reminding us why we don't. So thank you for the entertainment. Thank you for the crash out. It was really fun to watch. I cannot wait to see the one that you do when she reads James 1:27. I know you don't know what that is, so let me read it for you. It says that pure religion in the sight of God the Father is taking care of orphans and widows in their distress and keeping yourself from being polluted by this world. How dare I say that to you?
For I was hungry and you fed me. I was thirsty and you gave me a drink. I was a stranger and you invited me into your home. I was naked and you gave me clothing. I was sick and you cared for me. I was in prison and you visited me. Then these righteous ones will reply, Lord, when did we ever see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink, or a stranger and show you hospitality, or naked and give you clothing? When did we ever see you sick or in prison and visit you? And the king will say, I tell you the truth, when you did it to one of the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you are doing it to me. I don't know, sounds pretty liberal. But wait, I think I want to read just one more part of this. Then the king will turn to those on his left and say, away with you, you cursed ones, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his demons. For I was hungry and you didn't feed me. I was thirsty and you didn't give me a drink. I was a stranger and you didn't invite me into your home. I was naked and you didn't give me clothing. I was sick and in prison and you didn't visit me. Then they will reply, Lord, when did we ever see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or naked or sick or in prison and not help you? And he will answer, I tell you the truth. When you refused to help the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you were refusing to help me.
The reason that Jen Hamilton angered MAGA Christians by reading the Bible to them is not because they have demons. Hey, my name is Adam. I was born into a fundamentalist Christian cult that I escaped in 2017 in my early 30s. The cult that I was a part of is known as the New Apostolic Reformation. One of the core traits of the NAR is spiritual warfare. And the definition of that concept is as follows. Everything good that happens is because of God. Everything bad that happens is because of the devil. So anytime somebody who is part of this cult encounters contradictory information, they immediately think, oh, this is bad. This is the devil. As opposed to encountering contradictory information and saying, I don't know that I really have a good answer for that question. The New Apostolic Reformation is directly responsible for getting Donald Trump elected twice. NAR core values are woven into MAGA, even if they don't know it. MAGA Christians regularly accuse people that they politically disagree with having a demon. This prevents them from having to engage with the actual issue at hand. They don't have to explain why they disagree because they're dealing with a demon. And you don't argue with demons, you cast them out, as they love to say. So when anyone who is not MAGA turns around and tries to say, oh, this MAGA person disagrees because they have a demon, just know you are taking a tool right out of the MAGA toolbox and attempting to use it against them. This is really dangerous to do Because what we need is a society that can engage in critical thought on a mass scale. But when you try to label everything with spiritual warfare or an attack of the devil, nobody actually has dialogue, nobody learns anything, and society never moves forward. This is why with all the political power that MAGA has acquired over the last several years, they have never actually made anything better, because they are not interested in making anything better. They're just here to be in power. So MAGA Christians actually disagree with Jen Hamilton because they're all reading the same book, but Jen Hamilton does not have preconceived rhetorical goals, identity politics, or power structures that she wants to protect. Evangelical Christians do. And therefore, evangelicals will always use the Bible to say whatever they need it to say to serve their purposes. So the real goal should be, let's approach the Bible with critical thought. Let's approach every serious issue with critical thought and move forward together as a society. Hope this helps.
Now, let's briefly talk about what he just said before we continue. There's a moment in Matthew that always gets me. Actually, two moments. Jesus is talking to the Pharisees, the religious leaders, the so-called moral elite, and let's just say they knew how to get under his skin. But one line in particular, it stopped me cold. In Matthew 23:15, Jesus says, "Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You travel over land and sea to win a single convert, and when you have succeeded, you make them twice as much a child of hell as you are." Twice as much. Let that sink in. He's literally calling them out for pushing their worldview so aggressively, forcing people to conform to their twisted standard, and then turning those people into something even worse. And honestly, that sounds exactly like MAGA. Do this, don't do that. This makes you holy, that makes you evil. Meanwhile, they don't want to be held accountable for anything, ever. And in another part of that same chapter, Matthew 23:5, Jesus says, "Everything they do is done for people to see. They make their phylacteries wide and the tassels on their garments long." Translation, it's all for show. Performative piety, loud prayers, flashy virtue, no real inner transformation. And Jesus made it clear, what comes out of a person is what defiles them, not what they're pretending to look like on the outside. I mean, if that's not MAGA church culture in a nutshell, I don't know what is. All right, let's carry on.
There is now a preacher man going from town to town and telling pastors that we love that they are hypocrites and whitewashed tombs. He looks Middle Eastern. He's definitely not from this country, and I don't believe English is his first language. He gave a sermon to 5,000 people and fed every single one of those 5,000 people. And all that's gonna do is teach those people to want to hand out some kind of leftist agenda. And he's got 12 men that just hang around. None of them are married and no children. What kind of Christian family value is that teaching? He said, "Blessed are the poor," and that it is nearly impossible for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. That sounds like woke Marxist crap to me. And he's telling people that we need to be loving our neighbor, and not just any neighbor, all our neighbors. That's why I'm writing this new book called Toxic Neighborly Love. Not to mention he's healing people, providing free health care. Who's paying for that? Who does he think he is to say to welcome the immigrant? Has he seen the people coming across those borders? Apparently, he told one of those men that like to follow him around that he should lay down their weapons. You can come take my weapon out of my cold, dead hands. You have to save the children, because this man in a dress is calling the children unto him. They're just buying whatever he says, and suddenly they're not voting Republican anymore.
They give birth, and that's automatically a citizen.
I just don't think that having Bibles in school is a bad thing.
You don't think it's bad?
I don't think it's bad. Of all the things that y'all could get mad at, having the Word of God being taught to our children, you think that that's a bad thing? It's good.
Okay, so like what if the government decided to start teaching Buddhism in class? Like, and made that law? How would you feel about that?
Now you're just picking a fight to pick a fight. We are a Christian nation. No one would ever teach Buddhism here. This is America.
But you're kind of asking for people who have different beliefs to believe in your belief system, like by having the Bible in class.
No, everyone should know about Christ.
Right, and some people think that Jesus was just like a regular dude.
You don't get it anyway. Daddy Trump's going to take care of it because he's going to give each school a $60 incentive so we can get that nice leather Bible with the Constitution and all the things in it. It's going to be great.
But would you have a problem with your tax dollars being spent and then your child being forced to learn about a religion that isn't yours in the classroom?
Well, it's just too bad it's not a problem I have to deal with because this is America and one nation under God, and God is Jesus Christ. And if you don't like it, you can leave.
What an odd interpretation it is to say that Christians who find solace in the fact that there's no such thing as a permanent or ultimate tragedy would only be doing so they can lack moral and rational responsibility for the here and now.
Don't worry, I come with receipts. We actually have a lot of data that shows that if you truly believe that Jesus is going to come and everything's going to be okay, that it reduces real world motivation to make this world better in the here and now. The thing with ethics is that you eventually have to choose between either two evils or two goods. That's why we all have a hierarchy of values. Eventually you're forced to choose. So when it came to stem cell research, we had to choose what matters more, that these could be souls or that these could really change people's lives in the here and now. And Christians were more likely to choose not to encourage stem cell research. In 2017, we have a Pew study that shows that white evangelicals are the ones who are most likely to not agree that humans are affecting climate change, and they're the ones most resisting climate action. A significant number of that population believes that climate change doesn't matter because Jesus is coming. In 2020, the Oxford Journal of Politics and Religion said that people who believe that Jesus is coming vote less frequently in local and environmental initiatives. They oppose long-term government planning, including healthcare, infrastructure, and climate response, and they support policies that accelerate biblical prophecies, such as Middle East conflict. Less than a third of evangelicals say that justice for Palestinians is necessary for peace because most prioritize prophecy fulfillment. This isn't weird. Like, we just saw this happen with Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson talking about theology. And we know from extensive terror management studies that if you remind people that they're going to die, they are less concerned with material problems, with worldly problems. We know statistically they're going to be less concerned to fix problems like poverty, racial injustice, or ecological collapse. We know from a study in 2008 called The Conflict Between Evangelical Eschatology, Jesus coming again, and environmentalism, that if you believed that Jesus was coming, you were more likely to see suffering as a sign of the times rather than solvable issues that we should be solving. In the 1980s, when the U.S. Secretary of the Interior was James Watt, who was an evangelical Christian, he justified environmental deregulations by saying, "We don't have to protect the environment. The second coming is at hand." That is a direct quote. Now, does every Christian believe in the afterlife in this spiritual bypassing way and is less motivated to make things work? No, that's not every Christian. I know Christian people who really do wake up each day and every day and say, what can I do to be more like Jesus? Those people are very quiet nowadays in America, and it's a smaller percentage, but I do know people who genuinely wake up, who try to be the good Samaritan every day and flip tables of the institution and call out hypocrisy and sit with the marginalized. I do know Christians like that. But we do know that for the majority of Christians, and I have the data to show it, that if you really believe that Jesus is coming and is going to make it okay, even if you don't think that it's lowered your motivation, you are less motivated to do the things that we need to do to make this world work for everyone. It decreases your motivation for long-term problem solving if you really believe that this is the end days and all of this suffering was prophesied, all the stuff in the Middle East is prophesied. We just need to make sure that we're on the right team. That's the majority of what's happening here. And to the people who think that you can do both, we have a hierarchy of values for a reason. Eventually, you're going to have to make a decision on what your energy and attention is more focused on, the next life or this life. And the majority of Christians choose the next life. Because if the majority of Christians, like let's just like play this out. If the majority of Christians were focusing on improving life, improving the quality of experience, reducing suffering in this world now, if that was truly the case, humanism wouldn't exist. What would humanism have to do? That's why humanism exists, was because religions weren't doing that. So do I think all Christians are bad people? No. Do I think the majority of Christians stand in the way of long-term progress? I think we have the data to show yes.
This is going to sound weird to some of you, but I agree with everything she just said, as a Christian. And let me explain why. Now, I'm going to do my best not to turn this into a full-on theological breakdown because I know we've got folks from all walks of life watching this, but just bear with me for a minute. Because if we're going to talk about how MAGA has weaponized religion, especially Christianity, we need to at least be honest about what Christianity actually teaches. At its core, Christianity is supposed to revolve around the teachings of Jesus. That's what the Gospels are about. And if you actually study the words and actions of Jesus, without the political fog machine turned on, they completely contradict what's happening in many modern-day evangelical churches in America. Let's start with the obvious. Jesus was not a politician. He made it crystal clear that the kingdom he came to talk about was not of this world. He never stormed into Roman government buildings demanding that Caesar put prayer back in schools. He never formed a pack. He wasn't rallying to legislate purity culture. But in today's evangelical Republican circles, especially the MAGA kind, they've flipped that script entirely. The gospel is no longer about transformation within. It's about conquest without. It's not about the kingdom of God being within you. It's about forcing the rest of the world to conform to what they think Jesus would have wanted, even if that includes ignoring what Jesus actually said. And let's talk about the pastors. We've seen people like Kenneth Copeland outright endorsing Trump from the pulpit, leading his congregation in a bizarre laugh-a-thon when the media called the election for Biden.
The media said Joe Biden's president. Ha 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 ha
I mean, what would you call that? Does he even stop to consider that maybe not everyone in his congregation voted the same way he did? Or that not everyone shares his political convictions? But that's the trick, isn't it? In those circles, questioning the pastor is seen as questioning God. And disagreeing politically? That's not just a different opinion. It's a spiritual threat. Suddenly, you're not just a liberal. You're woke. You're deceived. You're serving the devil. And once that kind of indoctrination sets in, people stop thinking critically altogether. Because from a very early age, many of these folks are conditioned to think in extremes. Heaven or hell. Saved or lost. Us or them. So when it comes time to vote or speak up about real-world issues, a lot of the decisions they make aren't actually about what's right or wrong. They're about what they think will protect their seat in heaven. And that kind of fear-based loyalty is easily manipulated, even when their choices come back to bite them through economic hardship, healthcare failures, environmental disasters. They'll shrug it off and say, well, Jesus is coming back anyway. And listen, I believe in the return of Christ too, but that doesn't mean we're off the hook. According to Scripture, this earth was given to mankind to steward, to till, to nurture, to take care of, not to destroy or exploit in the name of freedom. Instead, we've got politicians calling climate change a hoax. We've got people turning a blind eye to children and families in Gaza getting bombed into oblivion simply because they were born in the wrong part of the world. And the theology used to justify this? We have to support Israel no matter what, because they're God's chosen people. Except, that's not what Jesus said. And that's not how biblical justice works. Do you see how deeply embedded this mindset is? It's not just ignorance, it's systemic spiritual confusion, fed by narcissism, weaponized faith, and years of unchecked authoritarian preaching. And it's causing real harm to people, to the planet, and to the very faith it claims to protect. So yeah, I agree with her. And if that makes me sound like the liberal devil, so be it. I'd rather stand on the side of love, justice, and truth than hide behind a cross-shaped flag and call it holy. Let's keep going.
Well, that preacher man is at it again. This time he went to a wedding, and you know what he did? He turned water into wine. And besides the fact that that sounds like witchcraft to me, any true Christian would have turned it into grape juice. I mean, this guy's supposedly this holy son of God, and he shows up and tries to get people to party harder, let loose a little bit. There were children at that wedding. And he's been telling this story of this shepherd who supposedly leaves 99 sheep to go after one lost sheep. I'm sorry, but all sheep matter. And leaving everybody to go after one is woke and stupid. And one of those 12 men that like to just follow him around kissed him. And neither one of them said no homo. I mean, the guy is in a dress and we're letting our children listen to this man? Dude's out here just spitting in his fingers, rubbing it in blind people's eyes, and then they can see. I mean, that's going to get people to want universal health care. This guy's out here pushing Marxism, and my tax dollars are not going to pay for that. He's all like, love your neighbor, love your enemy, love everybody. I mean, I don't think the guy's ever met a Democrat in his life. Because if he did, he wouldn't be saying that. You know what I'm saying?
All of these conservative Christians protesting warming centers being built in their communities is just further proof that if Jesus were here today, they would call him a godless commie and have him either deported or killed. When Mary was pregnant with Jesus, she was fleeing persecution and trying to find a safe place to give birth to him. She was knocking on all of these innkeeper doors, and everyone was telling her that there's no room for her and that she can't stay. Those people turning her away are present-day conservative Christians. Except conservative Christians would have been a lot meaner to her. They would have told her that she should have kept her legs closed if she wasn't able to safely give birth. They would have told her to go back to where she came from since she was a refugee and give birth there instead of wasting the resources of their area. They may have even shot her in the face for knocking on their door. We all know that they love the stand your ground defense. Eventually, Mary found a safe location to give birth to Jesus, a warming center, if you will. Do conservative Christians just not know this story? Or I just don't understand how they think they're the good guys in all of this.
Christians are under attack in America. You've probably heard this before. Why do they think this? Because the Bible can't be taught in public schools and the teachers can't lead the kids in prayer. But that's not persecution. That's the Constitution doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Religious freedom doesn't mean that your religion gets to run the show. It just means that nobody's does. And when you actually ask Americans what they think about separation of church and state, is specifically in the classroom, it's pretty clear. A recent AP NORC poll says that most Americans like the wall between religion and the classroom. 60% oppose mandatory reading of the Bible in classroom or religious reading during class. So, no, you're not being persecuted. You're just not in control.
Hey, how'd you get in here? Door was open. Open or unlocked? How do you feel about them trying to ban Christianity in Oklahoma? I feel like that's not actually true. Yes, it is. The head of schools in Oklahoma tried to buy a bunch of Bibles and allow Bible-based lessons, and their state's Supreme Court blocked it. Temporarily blocked it. Yeah, same thing. Nope. Courts actually issue temporary blocks to allow for legal proceedings. Democracy. Okay, irregardless, this is a huge infringement on our First Amendment rights. We agree on that, but not for the same reason. Oh my God, I can't wait to hear some woke liberal bullshit. Blocking students from being able to learn about and practice their own religion is a direct infringement on their freedom of religion. This is common sense. We're not talking about banning them from learning about Christianity. We're talking about them using taxpayer funds to purchase materials and resources for classes on one specific religion. The First Amendment protects everyone's right to practice their own religion without government involvement. That's why private schools can practice religion. Public schools are run by the government. Did you? Whatever. I just think it's so insane that as soon as you bring up Jesus in schools or Bibles in schools, the liberals get so triggered. Okay, what if they were talking about purchasing copies of the Quran and the students were going to be taking classes on Islam? Why would they even do that? Because it's a religion. Yeah, not the religion of America. Don't try to bait me. You sound like an idiot. I just think it's interesting because you're always preaching about the First Amendment. Do you understand that you are simultaneously preaching about First Amendment rights while actively stomping all over? Okay, how do you feel about that? No. Go away.
Conservatives need to start realizing that the left is anti-Christianity.
Hi, former Republican hype girl here myself. I just want to let you know that conservatives already think that the left is anti-Christianity. I was taught that narrative my entire life. I believed that Democrats and anyone on the left was against God and against Christianity, and that I would get persecuted when I would stand up for my faith. But I was very outspoken for Jesus my entire life. In public schools, I had Jesus signs on my locker. I did prayer meetings. No one said anything to me. But interestingly enough, the only time I've ever started receiving hate and persecution was when I started being more outspoken about my faith, but not in a Republican way. When I started calling out Trumpism and nationalism, you would not believe the type of hate that I've received from Christians, not big bad atheists, Christian conservatives. When I got out of the conservative groupthink, I did realize that the left is anti-hate and anti-bigotry, and if that's what your Christianity is about, I'd be more concerned about yourself.
My favorite thing about Christian nationalism is it's so antithetical to Christianity itself that if God is real, every one of these Christian nationalists is buying themselves a one-way ticket to hell.
I, as a Christian, do not want anything other than everyone to be a Christian. I do not want you to have any other beliefs.
So the what I bought versus what I got version of Serena Joy from The Handmaid's Tale wants everybody to follow her religion, Christianity. And she claims to love others even though they may not follow her religion, because she for damn sure does not want to follow anyone else's religion except hers. And if you actually watch some of her other videos, she says that she actually does not want a theocracy, but if the opportunity were to actually present itself, I guarantee that she would actually go along with it. Now, as a full-blown atheist here that doesn't actually follow any type of religion, I'm actually okay with other people having beliefs, because that's what normal sane people would actually be okay with. What I don't want is for religion to control people, especially people who are different. And if you actually have seen the Handmaid's Tale TV show, Serena Joy actually loses a finger for expressing her beliefs. And it's full-blown hypocrites like these that want you to follow their beliefs yet don't follow any of their own because, for example, they like to elect a man into office that pretty much violates the 10 Commandments even though they want you to follow the 10 Commandments. And these people are still confused as to why people are leaving religion in droves. But for those who got to the end of this video, let me know what you think, and my name is Philip, and if you like what I post, please consider giving me a like, share, follow, and repost. It really does help my channel out. Thank you.
Shout out to Philip Talks, by the way. He's one of the subscribers to this channel, and you should definitely check out his content on TikTok. The man is doing phenomenal work over there, mixing commentary, insight, and humor in ways that always make you think. Seriously, if you're not following him, fix that. Now, it's interesting he brought up The Handmaid's Tale because that's exactly what I wanted to cover in this next part. And listen, I know I might sound like a tinfoil hat-wearing conspiracy theorist for a second, but hear me out. The shows and movies we're fed on television, they're not just random. A lot of it is what folks in the media world call predictive programming. That means they give you a fictionalized version of something crazy, like say a world where women are forced into breeding roles by religious extremists, and they dress it up as entertainment. You watch it, you feel shocked, maybe even disturbed, but then you brush it off as something that could never happen. Until one day you wake up and realize the groundwork has been slowly laid, piece by piece, under your nose. That's The Handmaid's Tale. That's Gilead. But also, that's MAGA. I'm serious. Because when you look at what's happening in real life, the obsession with legislating women's bodies, the aggressive push to roll back reproductive rights, the churchy language used by politicians who've clearly never read the Sermon on the Mount, it starts to look less like a slippery slope and more like someone is halfway down it, face first, arms flailing, dragging the rest of us with them. In the show, they justify everything, from kidnapping to rape, with cherry-picked Bible verses and talk about God's plan, as if they've got him on speed dial. Sound familiar? Evangelical politicians are out here treating the Constitution like it's an accessory to Leviticus. They're quoting scripture to silence dissent, erasing history they don't like from school curriculums, and slapping morality laws on entire states while ignoring poverty, corruption, and injustice, all while telling us it's Christian values. But Jesus, the real one, didn't walk around demanding power and punishing people who disagreed. He didn't build a theocracy. He called out religious hypocrites, flipped tables when the temple was used for profit, and talked about inner transformation, not forced obedience. So when you see MAGA folks dreaming of an America that looks more like Gilead than the gospel, don't be shocked. Just remember, they showed you the playbook years ago. You just thought it was fiction. Now, people love to argue that you can't have morality without religion. Like somehow, if you're not quoting scripture every 5 minutes, you're just out here kicking puppies and committing tax fraud. But here's the thing. You actually can be moral without religion. Wild concept, I know. And if we're being honest, America has this strange cultural split. We say we believe in God, and statistically, most people in the US do, but the way folks behave? Whew. Let's just say if actions spoke louder than bumper stickers, we'd be having a very different national conversation. So today, I want to show you 2 clips that I think drive home a really important lesson. One that might make you rethink how you view morality in public life. Because next time, instead of being swayed by someone's religion or who they claim to worship, maybe try watching how they actually treat people. That's where the real fruit is.
I'm at a farm stand in Norway, and this is something my American mind can't comprehend. Here's the thing, this place is completely unattended, full of fresh eggs and meat, and it runs purely on the trust that people will pay. Listen up, there's no cashier, no cameras, and no security. Just this book where you write down what you took and send the money to the owner later. Look at this, fresh eggs and local meat. And they're trusting 100% of people to just do the right thing. In California, we put toothpaste behind glass cases because people steal it. Meanwhile, Norwegians are out here leaving actual food, full tomahawk steaks, with just a notebook and the honor system. I just keep looking for the hidden cameras. Get this, I asked a local, what stops someone from just going in there, taking things, and never paying? And they just looked at me like I just asked them, why don't people go around and murder each other for fun? The concept of theft apparently just doesn't exist here. I'm realizing how messed up it is that my first instinct was, this place is definitely getting robbed. But what if this is how humans are actually supposed to operate? What if trust is the default and not suspicion? I'm starting to think America has trained me to expect the worst of people. And Norway is showing me what society looks like when you expect the best from people. Would something like this work where you're from? Because honestly, this is kind of blowing my mind.
You dropped this. Y'all dropped this?
I did. Yeah, I dropped it. Oh, did man, I did. Oh my God. Thank you.
Can I get 100 for being a good Samaritan?
I don't know about 100.
It's all it is, and there's hundreds.
I know, but still.
Come on.
I don't got no change. I don't need either. Okay? I can't give you 100. I know that's a lot.
Come on, but
I know.
but you
you
wouldn't have never. I could have walked off.
You're right. What about
20?
30? Look, this. See, you did it. You get your blessings from God. 30?
But
What about 35?
30, I just want 100.
Give him 20.
I just want 100.
God gonna bless you.
I just want 100.
Yeah, but I want a lot too, but I can't get everything. That money is counted for. I forgot.
What y'all was about to buy with that money?
If I would have got up there, I wouldn't have had
What y'all about to buy with that money? You got all that money. What do you do for it? What do you do for a living?
Oh my God. Why is that your business? We're getting too personal now. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, come on. Now it's game. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they playing a game. Excuse me. I'll go do something, but now they're playing a game. Excuse me. And look, let me show you something. Because I ain't finna play this game with y'all, but let me show y'all something. Let me
Don't pull the gun.
No, I'm finna show you who I am.
Okay, let me see.
Y'all playing.
Let me see.
I wish y'all would go ahead on.
All right, let me see.
Go ahead on now.
Oh.
Bye. Okay, bye.
Oh, you don't.
No,
Wait, can I have 100?
I tried to give you 20. Now let it go. I want a lot too.
God.
Stop talking. Stop talking. Let it go.
Come on. Marilyn, please.
Let me call.
I'm going to the front. I think y'all lying.
I think you lying.
I think y'all.
Please leave me alone. Yeah.
Come on, I just want 100.
I want $1 million. Can you give me $1 million?
Can you give me 100?
Marilyn, please stop talking. I gotta find a
Marilyn, don't call the police, please, 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 please don't call the police, please, please, please.
Please, I am the police. Please, now move.
Oh, you is the police.
That's what I just showed you.
Come on.
Please stop. Now you.
Come on. You hitting me?
Oh, sorry. Get from in front of me.
You hitting me?
Why would you stand in front of me? Move.
I dropped that.
Now you drop.
Yeah.
Please don't talk to the water back there, sweetheart.
Come on, please. I dropped that.
Dial it.
No, don't dial it. Don't dial it.
Y'all walking around here trying to see who y'all target is. You got the right one. I am Highland Hills Police. Now go on about your business. I got my envelope. You better go before you get arrested.
His.
That is not his. Get away from me.
That is his.
Security.
Okay, wait. Okay.
Security.
Please. Be cool.
Security.
Wait, come on.
Security. I'm stealing anything.
You is stealing.
Oh, Lord. Security. These guys are harassing us in this store. I am a police officer. I need for them to go on about their business.
I don't know him. Yeah, I don't know him either. That's
They know each other.
they picked up his envelope of money. It's like $1,000 in there.
Don't go ahead on with that. Go ahead on with it.
Come on.
I'll get it.
Come on, you're going. Whose side are you going to take?
Ain't about no side.
I'm gonna tell you something. Look at all this up here.
Right,
It's called AI. It's called AI.
Right.
Oh, AI.
It's identified artificial.
She running with the money. Where'd she go?
Man, why y'all stop putting on this bullshit?
All right, it's a break. All right, it's a break. 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 It's fake money. Look at the money. It's a break. It's a break. Where's the money? Where's the money? Look. Look at my TikTok. Look. Look, all I do is prank.
You on TikTok.
No, you did. Look. Fake money.
So why would you sit here and try to scam?
Can I have the money back? It's fake money.
Well, okay, well, go. If it's fake, you don't have to worry about it. Look at it.
A police officer doing that. That's crazy. And it's a prank. Can I just get the money
Why
back?
you trying to scam somebody?
Can I just-
had an envelope, yes. Okay? Of money too. Now, then this one comes up and
so you had an envelope of
and
money?
says, give me my envelope. So what are you doing? What you playing?
Right. So is it your?
What are you playing?
Can I just get the money back? Can I get the money back?
If it's fake, you don't need it back.
Wow, holy cow, let's unpack that. So, this guy from California goes to Norway, and what do we see? A culture that isn't screaming about being religious, yet somehow it's operating with more integrity than half the "in God we trust" crowd over here. I mean, think about that for a second. America literally prints "in God we trust" on its money, like that somehow makes us a holy nation. And sure, we say we're one nation under God, though someone in the comments suggested it should probably be one nation under Canada at this point. And honestly, I'm not even mad at that. But seriously, look at us. It's not about how loudly someone claims to love God. In fact, and I say this with love, the louder someone tries to make religion their entire personality, the more I raise an eyebrow. I've seen that show too many times. If a shop in Norway can just let people walk in, grab what they need, and write their name in a book, my goodness, can you imagine that in America? Billionaires would foam at the mouth. Pastors would suddenly get visions from God telling them to open their own holy trust market. And even regular folks would be like, I'm just testing the system. God knows my heart. Yeah, sure he does. And don't even get me started on that viral clip with the money prank. The one where a guy drops an envelope of cash just to see who's honest. That so-called police officer had the nerve to say, God will bless you, after pocketing someone else's money. This right here, this is what we're talking about. Now look, I'm not saying those women are MAGA, I don't know their politics. But if you've watched my videos for a while, you know I believe MAGA isn't just a movement, it's a spirit, it's a mindset. It's not about skin color, it's about character. It's about aligning yourself with ideologies that prioritize self-righteousness over self-reflection. What those women did in that store, that lines up perfectly with the mindset of the billionaires many Americans worship. Take what you can, call it a blessing, and walk away guilt-free. But here's the thing, sometimes the kind of leadership we cry about reflects who we are as a people. We love to blame the top, but what if the top just mirrors what's already in the collective heart of the nation? Let's be honest, America is struggling. Racism, greed, pride, all dressed up in Sunday clothes. And maybe, just maybe, the real revival we need isn't political, it's personal, it's inward. So if this video does anything for you, I hope it nudges you to look within. Let's work on our demons. Let's grow up spiritually. Let's stop letting ego and fear dress up as faith. And above all, let's remember love. Drop your thoughts in the comments. You all have been incredible. I've even had people ask if they could buy me a coffee after these videos, which is super sweet and I appreciate the love. But honestly, the best thing you can do, like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs it.